All right, I'm back. Where we left off, it was talking about the 15-man battle royal that took place September 5th, 1991, in Augusta, Georgia. 2,800 people attended this show. Very small show. But it got a 3.7 in the ratings, though. El Gigante won the battle royal, which had Z-Man, Tommy Rich, Bobby Eaton, Ranger Ross, Tracy Smothers, Oz, who was Kevin Nash, PN News, Buddy Lee Parker, Steve Austin, Dustin Rhodes, Terrence Taylor, Big Josh, Barry Windham, and the One Man Gang. Yeah. There wasn't much they could have done with this, unless you want to see Ron Simmons versus the Diamond Stud, who was Razor Ramon, or you can see Steve Austin defeat Tom Zink. Like I said, they're going pretty heavy with Sting on this Clash DVD, and they didn't want to make it the best of Sting. But Sting wrestled on this card against Johnny B. Bad. It wasn't actually a bad match. But yeah, 15-man battle royal was a waste, just like the Ivan Koloff and Ricky Morton. That was a waste, just like the Young Pistols and Z-Man versus the Freebirds was a waste. Next match on this DVD, and this too, by the way, is Rick Rude versus Sting for the U.S. title. This is where Sting was getting the mystery boxes, where Cactus Jack popped out. And the last box being Lex Luger, which hurt Sting's leg. And you thought if you watched this match that Sting was going to win, but he ended up losing to Rick Rude. This took part in November 19th, 1991 from Savannah, Georgia. 6,922 people attended this match. I got a 4.3 ratings on TBS. That's all I can really say. I mean, they had some other matches on here. None worthwhile. Maybe Dustin Rhodes and Ricky Steamboat versus the Enforcers, which is Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko. That would have been a pretty decent match. Luger versus Rick Steiner. It was an okay match. And the next one is Ric Flair and Arn Anderson versus the Hollywood Blondes. Not a bad match, but they skipped over some of the Clash of Champions matches, or actually some of the Clash of Champions for this. That's from what, Clash 23, I believe. Let me see. Clash 23. Yep. Norfolk, Virginia, in the Norfolk Scope Horseman Country, June 6, 1993. Sorry that I'm losing my spot. I'm trying to do three things at once. Barry Windham had caused the Hollywood Blondes to lose the second fall by disqualification. Thus, the titles cannot change hands. So, yeah, Ric Flair and Arn Anderson won by disqualification. I think that was like Ric Flair's first match back, too. And then they go to Brian Pillman versus Stunning Steve Austin, which took place at the Clash 25, I believe. Yes, I'm correct. Pretty decent match. The reason why they have Steve Austin on there and Brian Pillman, they're both former employees or employees of WWE. Steve Austin is still employed by them. But also on the same card, you had Dustin Rhodes versus Paul Orndorff. Dustin Rhodes was in his corner. The assassin was in Paul Orndorff's corner. Or you could have used Ric Flair versus Vader. I would have used that match too. But yeah, can't go wrong with Steve Austin versus Brian Pillman. And this is still on disc 2. Then they go Lord Steven Regal versus Dustin Rhodes, which took place on the very next Clash in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And this is Bobby the Brain Heenan's debut in the WCW. Also on that same card was Sting and Ric Flair versus Vader and Rude, which is also the last match on this too, which was a pretty good match. Flair and Vader were both counted out. Sting pin ruled to win the match. It went 22 minutes and 52 seconds. So, very solid ending to disc 2. On disc 3, let me bump some things up. It starts out with Sting versus Ric Flair. Sorry, Sting versus Flair. Charleston, South Carolina. This was a combined Sting's international champion and Ric Flair's heavyweight title. Pretty solid match. They made Ric Flair a transitional champion for this because Hogan ended up winning the belt at Beach Bash or Bash at the Beach, one of the two, the next pay-per-view. So yeah, Flair had Sting at the short end of the stick when Hogan came in. But yeah, that's how they started this 3, is Flair versus Sting. And then the next match is Stunning Steve Austin versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. From Clash 23. It was okay, you know. I'm glad they used that match because they could have used Dusty and Dustin Rhodes versus Terry fucking Bunkhouse Buck, or Antonio Inoki versus Steve Regal. That'd have been a wrestling clinic, you know. But yeah, they used Steamboat versus Sonny Steve Austin to win the U.S. title. Very good match. This is Steamboat's actually last match. He suffered his career-ending back injury during that match. So, yeah. And they also used it because Steamboat's a Hall of Famer and Steve Austin's a Hall of Famer. And they both are involved with WWE right now. So, good match placement. Next is Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage versus Flair and the Giant. Yeah. Not a good match to use. And that's from Clash. Like, I don't know. Took part January 23rd, 1996. Flair and the Giant beat Hogan and Savage. Not too much to pick. If I would have picked the match from this card, it would have been Pillman versus Eddie Guerrero. Not Flair and the Giant versus Hogan and Randy Savage. But, you know, you have all these Hall of Famers involved with this match, so that's why they picked it. Next is Medusa versus Bull Nakano. And they misspelled Medusa in here, just to let you know. They spelled it M-E-D-U-S-A. And when it's actually spelled M-A-D-U-S-A. So there's a misprint in the Clash DVD thing. But yeah, Medusa defeated Bull Nakano. And then also, they used Diamond Dallas Page versus Eddie Guerrero. Very good match. Eddie Guerrero wins the WCW Battle Bowl Championship in that match. And then it's Harlem Heat versus the Steiners versus Sting and Luger. Not a bad match. If I can find it. I always get lost looking for this match. Yep, Harlem Heat won. It was a three-way match. Pretty decent. They had other matches. This is the same card, actually, with the Medusa and Eddie Guerrero stuff on there. So, not a bad card at all. And then we go Ultimo Dragon versus Dean Malenko. Very good match. Trying to figure out which one that it's from. I think it's from the very last Clash of Champions, maybe. Nope. It's from the Clash in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Chris Jericho versus Eddie Guerrero. Good match for the Cruiserweight Championship. Chris Jericho wins. And then Diamond Dallas Page and Luger versus Scott Hall and the Macho Man. And that was the last of the Clash. I will be giving my final thoughts after this.